In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars burned like ancient lanterns and galaxies stretched endlessly across the void, there existed a planet shrouded in mystery. To outsiders, it was known as Death World, a name whispered with both awe and dread by civilizations scattered throughout the galaxy. The alien warriors who dared to approach its atmosphere often returned shaken, their minds haunted by what they had witnessed. But this time something unusual happened. When an elite squadron of interstellar soldiers landed on the surface, they'd froze in fear, not because of any weapon or beast, but because of what the inhabitants did for fun. The Marauders came from a race called the Vorthakians, renowned for their ferocity in battle and their ability to conquer worlds with ruthless efficiency. They were tall beings clad in sleek black armor that shimmered under starlight, their eyes glowing faintly red beneath visored helmets. Their leader, Kale, stood at the forefront of his team, scanning the horizon through enhanced optics. He had been briefed about Death World before embarking on this mission, but no report could prepare him for what lay ahead. Death World wasn't barren as many hostile planets tended to be. Instead, it teemed with life. Jagged mountains pierced the sky, rivers of molten lava carved paths through valleys, and forests made entirely of crystalline trees reflected light in dazzling patterns. It was beautiful, yet every inch of it screamed danger. Each blade of grass seemed poised to strike, each gust of wind carried whispers of peril. The natives lived here, thriving amidst chaos, honing themselves into apex predators. Kale's squad descended cautiously onto a clearing near one of the larger settlements. The village appeared primitive at first glance, composed of huts built from volcanic rock and reinforced with metallic alloys scavenged from fallen meteorites. Yet despite its rudimentary appearance, the air thrummed with energy, pulsating with unseen forces. As they advanced, the ground trembled slightly beneath their boots, signaling the presence of something far more powerful than mere tectonic activity. Suddenly, movement caught their attention. From the shadows emerged figures unlike anything the Vorthakians had ever encountered. These were not frail creatures cowering in fear, but towering humanoids with skin resembling obsidian glass. Their bodies radiated heat, steam rising off them as though they'd just stepped out of the planet's fiery core. Eyes glowed white-hot, piercing through the dimness like twin suns. Weapons forged from hardened magma hung loosely in their grips, though none seemed eager to draw them just yet. "Stay alert," Kale commanded over comms, raising a hand to halt his troops. His voice remained steady, betraying none of the unease creeping up his spine. "We don't know what these things are capable of." As if in response, the largest among the group stepped forward. His name, according to transmissions intercepted earlier, was Thane. Unlike the others, he wore no armor, only ceremonial markings etched into his chest plate, a testament to his status within the tribe. With slow, deliberate movements, Thane raised an arm and pointed toward a massive arena carved into the side of a mountain. A low rumble echoed through the valley, drawing everyone's gaze upward. "What is that?" one of Kale's lieutenants asked, her tone laced with suspicion. Thane didn't answer verbally. Instead, he gestured again, beckoning them closer. Curiosity mingled with caution as the Vorthakians followed, weapons ready but holstered. Whatever awaited them inside the arena would determine whether this encounter ended peacefully or violently. Inside, the spectacle unfolding defied all logic. Thousands of spectators filled the stands, cheering wildly as combatants clashed below. But these weren't ordinary battles. Participants wielded tools of destruction never seen outside Death World. Chainsaws powered by geothermal energy, whips crackling with electricity, shields made from compressed ash clouds. Some fought barehanded, relying solely on brute strength and agility. Blood splattered the ground, mixing with glowing embers kicked up during skirmishes. But what truly chilled Kale and his warriors to the bone wasn't the violence. It was the sheer joy emanating from the crowd. Laughter rang out between roars of approval. Children clapped excitedly while elders nodded approvingly. For the people of Death World, this wasn't war. It was entertainment. "This isn't possible," muttered another soldier, lowering his rifle momentarily. "How can anyone treat death so casually?" "It's not casual," Thane finally spoke, his voice deep and resonant. Though unintelligible at first, translation algorithms embedded in the Vorthakian helmets rendered his words comprehensible. It is respect. We honor our trials, our struggles. This is how we prove ourselves worthy of survival. Kale frowned, stepping closer. You fight for sport? Your own kind against each other? No, Thane corrected sharply. Not always. Sometimes we face beasts born of the earth itself. Other times we test ourselves against machines crafted by forgotten gods. And occasionally, he paused, turning his gaze toward the invaders. We welcome outsiders to join us. A murmur rippled through the Vorthakian ranks. Join them? In combat meant for amusement? The very idea seemed absurd and suicidal. Yet, looking around, Kale realized refusal might provoke hostility. These people revered strength above all else. Weakness invited annihilation. Before he could respond, Thane continued, Fear not, you will not fight alone. My champion shall stand beside you, if you choose to accept. At his signal, a figure emerged from the shadows of the arena entrance. She was shorter than most of her kin, lean but muscular, with scars crisscrossing her arms like badges of honor. Her hair, braided tightly against her skull, gleamed silver under the flickering torchlight. Unlike the rest, she carried no weapon save for a single dagger strapped to her thigh. Her name was Lyra. She will protect you, Thane declared. If you survive, you earn safe passage. If not, he shrugged indifferently, letting the implication hang heavy in the air. Kale hesitated, weighing their options. Refusal meant certain conflict. Acceptance offered slim hope, but preserved dignity. After a tense moment, he nodded curtly. Very well, we accept your challenge. The next hour passed in a blur. Lyra led the Vorthakians to a staging area where they prepared for the trial ahead. She studied them silently, assessing their capabilities without uttering a word. When the gates opened, revealing a coliseum filled with roaring spectators, she turned to Kale. Listen carefully, she said, her voice calm yet commanding. Do not hesitate. Do not falter. Trust me and trust yourselves. That is how you survive. With those cryptic words, she strode into the arena, leaving the invaders little choice but to follow. What awaited them tested every ounce of skill, courage, and resolve they possessed. Mechanical drones armed with plasma cannons swarmed from hidden alcoves. Massive serpentine creatures erupted from underground tunnels, jaws snapping hungrily. Explosions rocked the battlefield as environmental hazards triggered unpredictably. Yet, through it all, Lyra moved like a force of nature. Her dagger danced in arcs of light, deflecting projectiles and slicing through mechanical limbs with surgical precision. She shouted commands, guiding the Vorthakians to safety when overwhelmed and rallying them when morale flagged. Slowly, painfully, they adapted to the rhythm of Deathworld's madness. By the end of the ordeal, Kale found himself standing alongside Lyra atop a pile of defeated foes, breathing hard but alive. The crowd erupted into cheers, chanting her name alongside cries of approval for the unlikely alliance. For the first time since landing, Kale felt a spark of admiration, not just for Lyra, but for the culture that produced such resilience. As Thane approached, offering a gesture of truce, Kale extended a gloved hand. Your world is extraordinary, he admitted grudgingly, and your people, formidable. Thane smirked, clasping the offered hand firmly. Remember this day, warrior, not because you survived, but because you learned. Strength is meaningless without purpose. Purpose is forged in fire. With that, the Vorthakians departed, carrying tales of Deathworld back to their empire. Tales of battles fought not for conquest, for pride. Tales of warriors who froze in fear, not from weakness, but from witnessing true valor. And somewhere among the stars, Kale couldn't help but wonder, perhaps his own civilization still had much to learn about what it truly meant to live.